energy. I think you are such an amazing person. And I am so happy that we are honoring such an intelligent, regal human being such as yourself. Oh my goodness.
Look at it.
I mean, you are just someone who is to be admired and someone that I can just take so many nuggets of knowledge from. And I really appreciate your existence.
Oh my goodness.
You know, I'm just going to let you know.
Lay it all down.
Just lay it all down. So we're at the Black Hollywood Live and the Uptown Magazine Pre-Emmy event honoring yourself. How are you feeling right now?
I'm very humble. You know, God puts you on earth with a gift and you have to cultivate it and grow it. And I'm just trying to do the best I can. And whenever you're recognized for that, it's just extra. You know, it's like the icing on the cake.
Now, people think that, you know, success happens overnight. You mentioned that you have to cultivate your gift. How long did it take you to cultivate it, and what trials or tribulations did you go through?
Yes, absolutely. You know it. There's always a path that you think you're on, and then something will happen on that road, and you got to go another way. So, you know, I moved to New York in 2004. I studied at Juilliard, and that was really a culture shock to go from New Orleans to New York.
As a black man.
In that world, you know, the ivory towers and concert halls, they don't have a lot of us. So figuring out my identity and knowing the value in my identity and who I am and sticking to that, but taking the things that I wanted from the environment and really just knowing who I am as a man, not just as a musician. You know, that was really the biggest struggle coming from a small town just outside of New Orleans and going to the big city.
Now, how did your cultural identity play into that? Were there any like downfalls? What was your peak?
Well, I remember musicians on the scene that I admired, people who I wanted to mentor me, telling me, you know, that's not the right way to do it. You better go back to New Orleans with that. Too country, too much of this in your plan, too much of that, and then not having money and trying to figure out how to make it in New York, which is really an expensive city.
It's tough, yeah.
And really not knowing what to do at certain points where I'm in between places and not having a place to go, sleeping on couches. I mean, there's so many stories, just trying to find money to record. We've been through a lot of different things. But
so what kept you afloat? What was keeping your head above water? Making a way when you can. Temporary layoffs, good times.
Hey, good times. Music credit rip-off.
Good times.
I was really just focusing on the gift that God has given me and just trying to be there to be a good steward of that. Focusing on that is really what keeps me going every day. Even with the success, you have to always remember, okay, this is not about me. It's about the people and loving everybody through the gift and really just letting God have that glory. So I'm sticking with that.
Absolutely. Now, of course, we are here. It's a pre-Emmys event. What's your favorite television show that you love to binge watch?
Wow. You know, The People versus O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
That show, I really cannot believe what happened to me when I watched that show, because I wanted to watch one episode. I sat down and next thing you know, I watched the whole season. And it was overnight. So I got in bed. I was going to watch one as I went to sleep. Didn't happen like that.
Didn't happen. I mean, in Cuba, his acting is so phenomenal and it's so inspiring. It's like, how?
Yeah, Cuba is amazing. Shout out to my buddy Sterling. We used to write musicals together, and just seeing him in there really nail his part, and just thinking about all of the cast, it was phenomenal.
So that is one show that you love. Is there any other show, maybe a guilty pleasure that you love?
I'd have to say Mozart in the Jungle.
Nice.
You know, it reminded me of my time at Juilliard, because there's not a show that goes into that world like that. And it's a very highbrow, lowbrow show at the same time. I love that.
Yeah. Now, you went to such a prestigious institution like Juilliard. How important do you think it is for not only African Americans to acquire a higher education, but just people in general?
Oh, it's major, because the more you know won't hurt you.
Yeah.
The more you know
knowledge is power, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
People don't understand sometimes that you can take from these different influences and still maintain your core identity.
Yes.
It doesn't have to change you.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing that I learned the most. I can be myself in this. I don't have to be like this or that.
Yeah.
I can stay true to who I am and still learn these new things.